Brian Rowan, Council 1.
Here.
Jonathan Randall, Council Position 2. Kendrick Jones, Council Position 3. Wendy Williams, Council Position 4. Here. Paulette Barnett, Council Position 5. Here. And Mayor Pro Tem for you.
Okay, we have a quorum present for tonight, and we're going to stand for the invocation and the pledge. Sure.
So bow your heads, please. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this evening. We thank you for this council, citizens, staff here at Prairie View. We ask that you help guide this council to make wise decisions for the betterment of the city. We ask that you protect Prairie View. We ask that you protect our military. We ask that you protect the United States. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, the next item is to consider take action to approve the meeting minutes for the regular city council meeting on November 13th, 2017. A motion. Mr. Ryan.
I move that we accept the minutes of the regular scheduled meeting on November 13th with any necessary corrections.
Second. You heard the motion and the second. All in favor, raise your hand. Right, say aye. And opposed, none. The next item will be the citizens' comment. And we have one person, Ms. Pat.
Good evening. I have maybe 4 things I'm going to tell you. First thing is, I would like to know if we could have a town hall meeting addressing the issues of how we're going to budget the new policy with the county in regard to road maintenance, and how you're going to determine which roads are going to have prioritizing status when you're going to have them do the maintenance. Second thing I would like to ask is, you publish the agenda online that I can download, but I have no supporting documents that I can follow what y'all are talking about. That would be really helpful. The next thing is, our meetings get longer and longer and longer and longer. So could you work on a way that we don't still be in session at 11 o'clock at night? You see, members start leaving 9:30, 10 o'clock. I know y'all have jobs, I know all of that, but you need to think about that if you want us to participate in government. And then the last thing is, you know I'm a CASA volunteer. So we have right now about 70 kids in care and about 7 that are fixing to be in care. And the elected officials that we have, one by one, have sort of disappeared. So we're really struggling to have this party on December the 9th. I would ask anybody that can to go to the wish list, which is a Facebook. All of the children's desires are listed there. You can pick a child, you can partner with somebody. This time around we have a lot of older kids. So their wants are a little more expensive than a 2-year-old's. There was one other thing that I didn't write it down, so I'll have to come next time. But I appreciate your attention.
Okay, and now we'll have the departmental reports. Ms. Vicky.
I have no report.
I have a question, Ms. Dickey.
Mm-hmm.
Could we, I thought before we said that on Friday, once the agenda was confirmed or goes on the internet, council was going to receive an email. So I want to make sure that
I'm sorry, I could barely hear.
we have talked or voted, well, we voted to have the agenda sent to council.
Okay.
So I wanted just to make sure that we're getting the agenda. So just like how you posted on, however's posted on Door on Fire, or whoever posts on the website, can you make sure that all council receives an email copy of the agenda?
An email copy?
Yeah.
Okay. And while we're on this subject, I would prefer to send it by email rather than sending it by courier, because we send some of them by courier.
Well, yeah. I mean, the packet, so the reason why, so sometimes packets have all supporting documents. Sometimes packets don't have supporting documents. But if we receive the email of the agenda on Friday, whether we had the packet or not, we could at least, it would give us some information. And so whether we did, I think during the pack, I think only two people gets their packets. Okay. And
They get hand delivered.
yeah, I usually pick mine up at City Hall. And so if I would just want to receive an email on Friday or the agenda, and then we'll pick up our packets whenever. I don't want to change the delivery process. I just want to make sure that we receive an email agenda when it's posted on Friday.
Okay.
And Ms. Vicky, can we share that Councilman Randall is present at 6:19?
Absolutely.
JJ?
No report, my report will be next week.
We don't have one from the judge, she's not here.
She is not today. She's not here today.
Okay, Chief Solomon?
I didn't want to give it last week. I would ask that you guys keep in your prayers the trooper who was killed. And also, because you know, when the cow came through this area, it was actually caught up in this area. So if you all just keep in your prayers in this family.
Yes, Chief, I have a question. You want that?
Well, do you have a status on the patrol units showing up at any time? Or what the status is on those?
On patrol units,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be, they talked about probably the end of December. Yes.
Do we have a protocol on, well, one, do we have after action report from homecoming? It's quickly moving past this.
No, we have not. We have not had that meeting yet. That's a meeting that I've asked them not just once but twice to make sure that we have. We've not had that meeting as of yet. I'm not sure if it's the holidays or what. So I thought I would give them that time and then ask them again, because we really can't go again next year without having that meeting to see where we're going to do some improvements.
Do we have a plan or something in process that the city of Prairie will develop its own, not its own plan, but we should have some things written down from our perspective. And so I don't want the year to end and us not have a city of Prairie View after action report on some issues and some items, because what we tend to do, and it's happened for year after year, is that we're waiting on the partnership that we have with the university. And everyone has a different style. So since we did implement a lot of new things from the city's part, I want to make sure that we have some document, because what we tend to do, so we have a document that we can pass down and we can pull out come next year or come whenever we have the meeting. We should have a 1 or 2 page summary of documents of things that happen in the city of Prairie View, and we don't need to wait on the university.
Any mass event like that, we really. That's the problem, Council, is that we're separating those things, and we can't separate those things. All those things need to come together. The things that we did this year, we did it on the request of the college, and those were things like shutting down university at 290, making a detour. And then also, the other request was the no parking, So those are things we did on the request of not just, overall citizens and also the university, which, it came together. So we have to see, because, not all of that worked like it was supposed to, especially closing down the university. That was not, that plan was, I'm not gonna say it was not a good plan, it didn't go as planned. And so, things like that, we can give you guys those things. But those are things that came with everything else, but we can, if you like for us to break those out, we can do those. Because that plan did not work. It did not work.
Definitely. I'm saying, council voted and we made a policy change on ordinance. We want to see the after actions, whether how many cars was towed, and were there any tickets, that type of information, so we can see if we made the best policy decision for the best for the city of Prairie View. Outside of that, we also closed down some directions. We were promised that we were going to have some available things to navigate in traffic. The city spent money with overtime on police officers, and so what I'm asking for is a recap. It can only be one page, but we have a recap of the 2017 Prairie View homecoming. We know the number, or whatever the number is, to say it was 20,000. So we had 10, 15 officers. We spent this much on overtime. We had 20 tickets. We had 50 people told. Like, that's the information. So when we come back and we have to review whether we're making sure that we have in the budget money for the police officers for their overtime and all the things needed, we have a full picture, and we're not just, we have a full picture to be able, and so I think a one-page something would help us if we just knew it, not to say, that the university is not, that we're not waiting on that meeting, but I just definitely love to see what we were in control of and what we did in the city.
It's one of the things you're looking for is what our budget was when it came to that. We can do that. If you're talking about the vehicles that were towed from 1098, ones that were ticketed, we can do those things. But if you're talking about an overall event, we'll break those things out, and if that's what you guys want to see, we can do that way. That's not a problem.
Are you able to tell us what's going on with the parking lot and the security gates, I guess, that are being put up?
When you say what's going on?
Yeah.
What do you mean what's going on? I'm not sure what you mean.
No, we don't know anything about those, so I'm trying to find out this. I don't.
The parking lot, the fence is going up. The fence is going up is going to secure all of the equipment that's back in that area, back there, including police cars, all your tractors, and all those things. And when you ask about what's going on, that's something that's supposed to have been done when Chief Johnson was here. I understand, if I was told that there was money set aside in that budget before the last budget ended, that there was money set aside, approximately $36,000, and they were going to use that entire $36,000 to do a fence all the way around this place, from what I understand. They never came up with any prices, they never came up with any bids, they never came up with anything on that. I was told by a finance man that money was there to be used for those things. So what we did with that money is we put in, because our parking back here gets muddy, it gets boggy, so we put in the concrete. We're having the fence put in. We're also going to have a new camera system put in to City Hall. Not only that, right outside that back door there, we're going to put what you call a safe zone. And that safe zone will be for people, and we'll wrap it out in our website as we get to it. That safe zone will be there for people. If you buy something on the internet or you buy something from somebody, you can come to that safe zone to exchange that. It'll be camera. There'll be a camera system out there. If you have a lady who needs to meet her ex-husband to exchange kids, you can do it in that safe zone. So all of that we got for that $36,000 that was there. Instead of taking that entire $36,000 and in building a fence. We took the fence area that we needed to secure the new vehicles, to secure those tractors, and secure everything so people are not just driving in here. During the course of the night, police officers are not here. What stops somebody from driving in off the street, load up those new tractors that you've got and driving out here? So that was the deal. And I was just told that money was there, and what I did was just make the use of it, instead of spending it all on a fence, made the use of it for some things that's going to benefit the entire city.
So did you go out to bid, or did y'all just get?
Oh, we went out to bid. We've got several bids on each one. We've got several bids on the fences, we've got several bids on the sidewalks, and we've got bids on the camera system.
And so were these people bonded, certified to do all this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. They were bonded, certified. We had their insurances. All of them had they had their insurance to do the jobs. It was about, I think, one of them had approximately $2 million in insurance to do the job. So all those things we checked while we went out those bids. Yeah.
The type of fence that we're getting, is it going to be a fence that is going to connect with the front facade of how our city hall is, or is this a fence that what type of fence? Because I guess
it's going to be a cycling fence. It's going to have approximately 10 remotes to it. We have remotes in the car. People will have remotes in public works. All those truck vehicles will be equipped with and there'll be two gates. There'll be a gate to go in when guys in public works come out of the building next door. There'll be a gate to go in. There's a gate to come in to the police department. Also, the people that have the cable satellites back here, there's a 12-foot gate that'll be left for them to make their drive through. Okay, I just added something. I didn't want to report, but I do have some information to give. Okay, real quick. Just completed the negotiation for the vehicles that's on this year's budget. It was 2 pickup trucks for the utility department and 1 vehicle for administration. I will share with you guys some pictures right there. We were able to get, we got 2 Ford F-150 pickups for the utility department, and there's a 2018. And then we got we got a 2017 brand new Ford Explorer for the administration, and we did get a red one to replace the red one that you had. Okay, so there, all we have to do now is complete the paperwork. If I can get the paperwork completed tonight, then we can pick the cars up tomorrow. And again, I'm glad to hear Chief say about that fence, because again, that's going to be 2 other brand new assets that you guys have that definitely needs to be secured at night. I'll give you all that information.
Do you remember what year it was that we approved for the fence and security system? I don't remember.
Yeah, when Chief Johnson was here, it was 15, 16.
Yeah, I remember what you were talking about. Right.
Something that
Any ordinance violation report? Chief, on any ordinance violation report?
no, ma'am. There's a lot of nothing. Go ahead.
Public Works?
Council, citizens, how's everybody doing this evening? It's been quite a month. I only have 3 things to touch on tonight. First, all the bacteriological samples came back good, so we're still in compliance. We did a successful rehab of the Brookside Meadows lift station. That's the one that's right there at the Chevron and the Washington Red Express. And prior to that, we had a issue with the electrical pole. We had a fuse that blew out in the cost control panel of ARC. So it actually fried that control panel. And that made San Bernard was called out so they could put the barrel fuse back in. And for overnight, we needed a Vector truck, Tiger truck, and the technicians would use it overnight to keep the flushing systems flowing.
The system that you replaced by the washer interior, that was paid for by insurance, or how was that?
I believe that one was taken care of by insurance. Court will have those numbers for you.
Court?
Yes. But not the rehab, but with the art and everything with everybody coming out, we are filing that as an insurance claim because that came from a powerful big down.
With we've done a number of is it redesigns or to the lift station?
Yes.
6 out of 8, I think was told, we said before.
I believe majority was 6 out of 8. I know for sure 6 out of 8 had to get some kind of breakdown, but as far as like full rehabs, we've done 3.
We did 3.
Cool. And so for those 3, that was paid for by, that's the ones that we sent to TML, to our risk pool.
Yes.
We was on money. We was on money for those 3. For $50-some thousand each.
So that was on.
Those was
It was upgrades, so we upgraded the pumps and everything. And we used the bond money for those 3.
We're talking about the issue where the wrong pumps were.
I know it was worked out as an insurance claim.
Did we still have to pay something?
Yes.
I guess that's what I'm maybe missing in our conversation. We've been spending money, and we don't know what we're spending the money on. No. We are spending money saying that we're using our insurance claims. But if the insurance claim is not paying 100% of the claim, what is the percentage of what the insurance will cover?
On that, I have to give it Corey. Corey handles the numbers. I'm the lead operator.
Yeah, we can get that difference.
Okay.
We can give you a report to show that.
Okay.
Are you not the one that works on the water?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so a good thing for you to know, as long as I've lived here, you told me, oh no, the water's okay, but when I can't see through water, I don't drink it. Even with this flood, I could see through the water. So whatever you're doing must be working.
Okay.
2 questions. I guess it was for Public Works. The impact study, do you know if that's gone underway? I think that was something we approved, and I think economic will be approved. And do you know if that has gone to the engineer or to do with Public Works? Do you know if that's gone?
I do not have an answer. That would be Mayor and Acting Head of Public Works.
Next is City Council report.
Yes, good to be able to serve you once again. Just coming back from this great Thanksgiving, hopefully everyone had a blessed Thanksgiving and had an opportunity to spend it with their family. We had last week, Troop 1906 had a Court of Honor. We have about 8 scouts here in the city of Prairie View. We had 2 who in the last 20 years have now moved to Life Scout. Life Scout is the next rank after Life Scout is Eagle Scout. And so we want the community to come out and help support these 2 young men who are Life Scouts, and we have 3 young men behind them who are now stars. And so the city of Prairie View needs to commend themselves and commend these young men in our community too. We have had an Eagle Scout come through Prairie View in 20 years. And so it is greatly been a community effort. We've had a lot of different people who participated at some point to help get this troop started. So I want to take my hats off to those people. Had the opportunity to go to Bastrop and represent the city at the Economic Development Conference. I also the president of the Economic 4B, Mr. President was there representing the city of Prairie Next Down 4B, and we learned a lot of different information. I will say, I will email everyone kind of the PowerPoints, but I will say one of the main takeaways is that the two things that I got from that particular conference was one, we can build all the new things, build all the new homes, or go after all the newest things, but if we don't have infrastructure, which is the foundation piece, then we are going to be in some. We need to have a real good conversation several town halls about what we're going to do as far as infrastructure. And the second thing they suggested, which we hadn't done before, which was they asked about the relationship with Economic 4B and the City Council. And they asked, have we ever had a planning meeting before together, both bodies? And so I would think that would be something that would be a great recommendation. I think the president for the EDC was there as well. I think that would be a great recommendation for us to kind of, move forward with what we're, to be on the same page, both City Council and Economic 4B. Had the opportunity to go to an event with the state of the Black Church and the impact on Black Church and economic development in communities of color. That was very interesting. That was hosted by Pastor Freddie Haynes out of Dallas, but this was held in Austin, and you had actually some people from Prairie View who actually happened to be at this program. One of the takeaways from that was in the city of Prairie View, we had at least 7 churches. And so from that, we need to figure out how do we engage those churches to help in some of the things that are going on, whether it be criminal justice or whether it be some of the more social things that are going on in the community. So again, thank y'all for allowing me to serve. And I am also going to a conference, Local Progress conference in Baltimore on the 2nd and 3rd.
Just real quick, I just wanted to kind of touch on something that Councilman Rollins said. I've noticed, over the last couple of meetings that we're doing a lot of talking about, and sometimes I feel like our focus as a governing body is kind of skewed. Sometimes I feel like we look at the big picture without folks who are on the path to get to the big picture. We all have this vision of what we want the city of Prairie to look like. We all have this vision of how we want it to grow and expand, but we have yet to actually put our boots on the ground and focus on the real issues as a governing body, as a unified front, dealing with infrastructure, dealing with the zip code. I believe those are the two biggest anchors that have held the city down for 30, 40 years. And I know since I've been sitting up here for the last 4.5 years, it's not something that we had actually that sunk our teeth. And I feel like economic development is critical, all of these things that we want are critical, but at the same time there's a stair step. And I believe we're trying to get to the 20th stair step before we stepped up on the first stair step. So I think as a governing body, I think we need to sit down and come up with a strategic plan about, what we want for the city and how we actually get there. Because we all have, these dreams of what we want, but we've never sat down and talked about how we actually get there, or actually put a plan in place of how we get there. We talk about the problem, we talk about the problem. At some point, it's time for us to get together and start figuring out a national solution. As always, it's a pleasure to serve. And I look forward, as 2017 comes to a close, I look forward to the things that come through the city in 2018 and beyond. Thank you.
So we'll move to the regular agenda. And item number 2 is to discuss and take action on donating the Crown Victoria to the Prairie Fire Department. Chief Collins.
We'll put it on the agenda, just let's talk to the TML. That's something that you guys have to approve. So we put it there to get your approval on it.
It should be a resolution.
Typically, you'd see it as a resolution. Give me 1 second, because I have some information on what y'all findings you'll need to make.
We did it before. I just know we just have to document.
Okay, so basically you have to determine its fair market value. There's some different findings you have to make its fair market value. Is it salvage or is it surplus property? And, give me 1 second, I have an email on this.
Do you need that fair market value on it?
Have we already done, I mean, I hear what you're telling us we have to have done, have we already done that?
I'm not aware of that, I don't know.
So, that's one of those things that shouldn't be on the agenda until all of those steps have been taken. Do you have to wait, we have to approve it for those steps to begin? Or what's the process?
City council is the last process as far as the vehicle belongs to the city. For us to give a third party something, it has to come through council in the form of a resolution. We've given the fire department 2 vehicles previously, but it was through resolution. And it was usually, we should have had a resolution saying, hey, this is a city approved vehicle that we got in 2000. We're not using it anymore. It is one in our salvage or whatever, and we're donating it to the Prairie Boston Fire Department. It's like 2 or 3 lines, and council votes on it.
Yeah, so I rendered advice on this recently, last week, and my advice was that we have to, so you are on the last side, staff will come up with what the fair market value is, okay? They need to articulate that. Then they have to articulate, is it salvage or is it surplus? They have to make a finding that such donation meets a public purpose and authorize the mayor to execute any documents to convey it, i.e. title, transfer, anything like that. So if y'all can make all those findings tonight, I don't think you necessarily need a resolution. It is my recommendation that you do have a resolution so that all those findings are in there. And I don't think that any of that information has been supplied.
So can we table this until we have that information? Madam Mayor,
Mr. Randall.
I move that we table item 2, taking action on donating the Councl Meeting to the Prairie Fire Department until the next meeting and with the necessary information provided as well as the resolution.
Second.
We heard the motion and the second. And you heard the question.
Question?
All in favor say aye. Opposed? Have the ayes have it.
So we do.
We're going to table it until we get the information.
So make sure that.
Ms. Dickey? Or Turner? Oh, we already sent the email out.
You were sent it. Okay.
Sorry,
To Miss Dickey and Miss Chip.
no, I said
To the mayor.
Do we make it Miss Dickey and Chief? Chief, you'll get the email and Miss Dickey if you.
Yeah, just give me a copy of the email. The email on, I'm sorry.
Of what is needed to move.
Okay, no, I take care.
He's going to get the fair
Fair market value. So who determines the salvage?
I think it's
It's going to be a surplus. That's,
salvage means personal property that through the use time. Well, I can go over that. There's specific definitions on what the difference between surplus and salvage is.
okay.
Staff will make that recommendation.
Okay, so moving to number 3. The judge or the mayor are present, so we can skip over that one.
Yeah, table. Motion.
Motion tabled.
Madam Mayor,
Mr. Randall.
I move that item 3 be tabled to a subsequent meeting. When the mayor or Judge Alfonso is present.
One second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are you ready for the question?
Question.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Ayes have it. Number 4, discuss and take action $100 monthly stipend for city council. Councilwoman?
Madam Mayor, I would like to make a motion that we table this until the next city council meeting when the mayor is present.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Are you ready for the question?
Question.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? None. Okay, discuss and take action on improvement of pavement on Owens Road. Ms. Williams.
Yes, I called Mr. Duncan on last Monday, and I left a message for him, and he returned my call this morning. And he asked me what is it that we wanted done to Orange Road, and I informed him. I really couldn't explain it to him. He needed to come see it, and so he told me that he would have been out to Orange Road today to drive and observe and see, and then he will contact me back after he has made his notations. I asked him what was the process for Orange Road or any roads in Prairie View, and he told me he would call me back and we would discuss that in detail once he saw Orange Road and saw what was needed. So if he doesn't call me back before the end of the week, then I will call him back.
Do we have, what is our City of Prairie View's process on road improvements? Do we have a process? And do we have, because we're asking the county to give us their, because Owens Road is a county city road, what is the process?
Ms. Vicky, can you show Councilman Jones present at 6:49?
In the improvement of, so do we have a policy for Prairie View? Is the first question I have.
I think it's, I think the policy is depending on the cost of the repair for whatever that stretch is. Whatever the road is, I believe it's already allocated amount of budget for small repairs, so they can be fixed without any from the council, but anything past a certain amount, we have to come back to us for action, right?
I thought we did talk about, like, we have money in our reserves to fix potholes.
Yeah.
What street improvement, I think, like what Councilman Williams may be mentioning, maybe a long term, like what is our yearly plan or what is the schedule of how we fix roads? And so just like we had a citizen bring up around what is the process on, so we know every year we're going to do small patchwork, but each year 2 or 3 roads will get improvement based upon money we have that can only be used for roads because we do have it's specifically allocated. I think we talked about, well, we've been talking about Owens Road, but the process I think we need to figure out whatever, if we want to use the county's process when they get back to Councilman Williams, we can look at that process. But I know that we receive, like, even there's a list of like road maintenance. It says Waller County Road Maintenance, and they have a list of all their roads in precincts. Do we have this for the city of Prairie View with all our 25 roads? And then I know, like a long time ago, about 8 years ago, we had a list, and it had like level 1, level 2, level 3 of how the pavement was, like the condition, and it was excellent, fair, poor, and then we would go back, and so I don't know if we need to pull that out now or do we need to start over, but I think we have a couple questions we need to figure out what we need to.
So I guess
I can kind of address that. Okay, in 2011 with the bond money, we spent $1 million on all the roads in Prairie View. We paid all, from my recollection, we paved all the roads in 2011.
Yeah, okay. Some of them short.
And since then, we haven't put together, a comprehensive plan as far as
we paved, but we didn't put put a follow-up, like an upkeep plan after.
Right, exactly. We haven't put anything in place, and what you're alluding to, Brian, is something that we need to address, and we can do that this particular fiscal year. And I would suggest that we look at that early on and just make that a part of pre-budgeting. We talked about doing some pre-budgeting.
So you talking about for the 2018 fiscal year?
Yeah, right. Well, that, and then we do have funds there that we can look at as far as, because we didn't give any designations for us, how you want to spend them. And so we can put some maintenance work in place in current fiscal year. Look at what we have budgeted, and also take it further into put a 5-year plan together.
So, who formulated this list? I mean, who formulated the list? I mean, you?
No, when we got the bond money,
No, the list for the roads to be repaired.
we haven't put that together yet. I'm
The
just
old
saying.
list, the previous list. Who did
No, what we did in 2011 was we took the bond money and paid all the streets in credit. That was the streets here that was dirt roads. And the mayor handled all that. I took through the engineer.
Okay, the engineer.
Yeah, right.
I guess my question would be, and I don't want to dominate Williams' item. How do we move forward if we? So it was mayor and council who put that, who had it of all the roads when we had the bond. But since then, we have not. We just patched roads on like a need basis, and we're saying, how do we create a 2-year or 5-year plan on how we're going to update roads, and then who would be a point of contact on doing that? Because this is the conversation that I would try to want to figure out how do we work out, because the mayor can be over it, which we know he's the executive, but the question is, this is part of infrastructure, and this should be a priority if we're talking about bringing businesses and all these other things. Infrastructure is a priority, and so how do we get that moving forward? We can say we want a 5-year plan, but then if we don't allocate no money behind it or people, we're gonna still just be talking about it.
I was just gonna say it would either have to be the public works. I guess that would be under public works, or it would be the city engineer, right? Somebody has
Just make a request to the mayor of what you guys want and let him figure out how to implement it. But, well, I mean, we work together.
Yeah, we want to. Yeah, all kind of.
I can.
Because like he mentioned how he has to be. We need that person to go in there and say, when we're looking at the needs of the roads, there are 20 some odd roads in Prairie View. These group of roads are priority one. This group of roads, because I'm sure there's a way that they measure, the level of gravel over there. However they do it, I'm guessing this would be the city engineer's thing. But at the same time, not only do we need to figure out that plan, but we need to develop a schedule saying, okay, 2018, these roads are going to be paid. 2019, these roads are going to be paid. 2020, these roads are going to be paid. And then 5-7 years down the road, it starts over again. That way we're not.
Why don't you make that a motion for our next agenda, because this is particularly only about Owens Road. Just like this item is. Consider and take action on improvement of pavement on Owens Road. This is not about a whole road plan. So I don't want y'all to get off too much. So
I guess the question, we're asking Waller County, or the ask was made to Waller County about how they go about doing the improvement on a road that is also in the city, and so I'm pretty sure they would turn around and ask us, well, what is your road improvement plan? And so how do we?
I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. I'm just saying this agenda item is only about Owens Road, not a general road plan. So I hear what you're both saying, and I think that it would be appropriate, Councilman, to have what you just said be placed on an agenda to do a road plan.
Okay. So that would go in the future. Yeah. So Councilwoman Williams, as far as Your item goes to number 5. There's no action to be taken until you talk back with them, right? So we've had the discussion.
Correct.
So,
No action taken. Okay. Moving on to number 6, discussion, Mayor Allen's proposal to start the process for annexing the 11.9 acres. Do you know anything about this?
He had asked me to talk about the annexation process, so, or how you annex the 11.9 acres. And there's a quite lengthy process on doing annexation. The state law changed, but the state law does not, the new state law does not affect this annexation. It would be a voluntary petition to come into the 11.9 acres. It has to be a half mile or less in width, it has to be contiguous, and it has to be vacant. It is my understanding, it meets those requirements.
So where is this?
I don't have the meets and bounds or the legal description. I'm just giving you a general, I was just asked to give a process for the annexation.
So, real quick, because this has happened to be one of our issues. This proposal, obviously we don't have a proposal, but even if we, were we gonna get a document or something?
Yeah, the way the agenda is worded is to discuss the proposal to start the process for annexing 11.9. I was supposed to discuss how the process for annexation works. That's it.
But there's this 11.9 acres is a physical location.
Correct.
And when we start talking about annexation, we just finished talking about infrastructure. So when you annex, you gotta be able to provide services. And so I'm saying that if there's a proposal or plan to annex 11.9 acres, that whoever's working on it have all the necessary information for us to be able to say, that makes sense. And so, I don't know who, your name is on here, so I was just making sure that.
My name is on
your name is on here.
And I'll tell you why my name is on here, to discuss how annexation works.
Okay, it didn't say that.
And that's what it says, process.
Okay.
So we don't have any information on the.
So I was told to give you, to give you the process on how to annex this 11.9 acres.
Can you say that?
Can you send it in an email?
Wait a minute, can all 11.9 acres be annexed all at one time, or he's gonna do step by step, because you can't even.
Well, you know where it's at.
You don't know where it's at, so, I mean,
So
how you gonna
you're
take
just telling us the process, so what is the process?
So the process is you have a petition that's filed that has a legal description and says this is the 11.9 acres, okay? And then and that has to be acted on after the 5th day, but before the 30th day, after the day it's filed with the city, okay? So you have a timeline when y'all have to have that petition, you will look at the petition, you will decide whether or not you're going to move forward on annexation, okay? If you decide to move forward on annexation, then the city will place on the agenda a service plan, direct the city to prepare a service plan to see make sure you can provide services. Water, sewer, police, everything else that y'all provide.
And so the city would need to provide the service, or they would, or whoever.
The city provides the service plan.
Okay.
Yes. And that has to be done has to be ready by the first public hearing date. And then you have to send a bunch of notice out. Notice 30 days before the first hearing, you've got to notice property owners.
What's the distance in the annexation versus what's the distance in this?
It just has to be contiguous. There's no distance requirements. As long as it's contiguous with the city, it has to be contiguous with the city. Next, it can be anything in between.
No, I'm talking about the people who you notify. So other people have
each property owner, which sounds redundant because they're the ones who are submitting the petitions. But that's, you have to notify the property owners, each public entity, and each railroad.
So nobody outside of that radius?
Yeah, but he's saying there's no rating. I'm saying, so if it's obviously if we're annexing a property, it would probably be in our ETJ, but we don't currently have services there. Is it 100 yards? Is it a mile for, like, the nearest house could be a mile in, which would be in the city limits, but would be within our ETJ. And so I was trying to figure out, how if you did like
you don't have to do 200 feet per zone.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that for annexation. you publish notice in the newspaper, but you only have to provide certain notice to certain people and entities, and you don't have to do the 200-foot. That's not required in organization. It is required in zoning.
Gotcha.
Okay. You have to let the school district know, and then you have to also indicate whether there's any financial impact on the school district, and then you'll hold 2 public hearings on the annexation. Let people come and discuss whether or not they agree with this annexation. You publish it in the newspaper, and the deadlines are, you can kind of work your way backwards from the date that you think the ordinance is going to be adopted, and you do your public hearing and your publication dates, and it's all very time sensitive, and you got to get a calendar out, and I have to do all the dates and everything.
Is it 2 meetings?
Some cities I have done a public hearing at 6 o'clock and a public hearing at 6:30. I prefer you to have 2 meetings to do it at 2 different dates.
Yeah.
But I do know cities that have done that, do have done their 2 public hearings on the same night. But I will recommend that you not do that. Then you have 2 separate public hearings, 2 dates.
So all the things you're saying is the process for annexation. That is what is going to be in the proposal?
The petition? First you have to get a petition. Okay, someone has to, this is for voluntary annexation.
Right.
So it's my understanding that this 11.9 acres is going to be a voluntary petition to annex in. Okay? So that's what they have to start with. Is number 1, you have to get a petition, and has to have meets and bounds, and then we do all these other steps after that. And it might not go anywhere. You get the petition and you all act on it and decide not to do any annexation, then that's it. It dies.
Yeah, because even it'd be very interesting to see a service plan on this, because we're needing a service plan on a lot of other, like, just basic information, and it would be very interesting. But I think any opportunity we have, as a person who supported moving to home rule from general law, which gave us the ability to do this, 2 cities, well, really 1 city next to us is general law and doesn't have the ability to do some of the things that we have the ability to do as home rule. So I think it is a great opportunity, but we gotta figure out if we could provide services. So with the annexation, hopefully we'll get some additional information.
No further discussion? Okay, number 8. 7. Discuss and take action to approve annual audit by Erskine Payne CPA. And the mayor is not here, so.
First is here.
Yeah, but the mayor not here. You don't have a proposal, do you?
No.
Nope.
Basically, tonight,
Okay, so.
we need some action on to approve.
We can't approve
We're
nothing.
gonna approve something we don't have.
What's the time? What's the time frame?
Well, time frame is summer. Start on the 11th, and
Oh, December?
yeah, this is due to the state by the 28th.
28th February.
So we have another meeting December 11th. Is that too late?
For my planning purposes, I try to work with you all because I'm planning audits,
It's not just open the book and it's there. It's
Well, I'm planning other audits all the time.
special meeting.
I have to.
Yeah, I recommend it because we discussed this in the previous time that we need to start this process early.
Earlier.
But Erskine, do you have a copy of your that you sent to the mayor?
Well, I have a copy of it.
You should
I
make
mean,
it.
they haven't, no one's looked at it.
But we haven't even seen it.
What can y'all?
No.
Oh yeah, we got yeah.
I'll look at the jokes. Okay, no problem.
What's the drop dead? If we have to do a special call meeting, what is the drop dead number? Because we could. One thing we could is we could try to decide on an additional date to meet. but we would need a drop dead from you.
Right, but can we do this though? Since you have the documentation, Ms. Dickey, can we get copies of that so we can have those?
Yeah, right.
We can plan a subsequent meeting where we've all had an opportunity to look at it. You know,
Let's do the special call.
we just do the call meeting, and the meeting can be, you know.
Yeah. Could we get a copy of that?
As early as it needs to be.
Could you give us a date on the last? I mean, you can just get.
Yeah, I mean, you can keep that.
Y'all just don't start discussing new business with me out of the room.
We're not.
Do we have? I'm trying to figure out when we can do the date when we the last day. Try to come up with a date where we can meet.
You have a date?
I would say the drop dead date is, what's next, Thursday?
The 30th.
No, next Thursday is like the 5th.
Yeah.
Next
Friday's the 5th, right?
Next Thursday is the 7th.
Yeah.
I would like to have something yet before, because I have a couple of meetings scheduled this weekend, next.
You have.
I will,
You so the work you if we voted tonight, you would have been coming to the city next week.
Yes.
So the 7th.
Right, I can work with you all.
Can't go. Well, I mean,
No, meeting on the 11th.
we have a meeting on 11th that Monday.
That's what it's due, right?
No, he's due.
Yeah, February.
Oh,
This question too tight. You was coming into the city before that?
Yeah, I can work with it. It's personal. I can do it. I mean, like I said, I just need to know something because I'm planning. I'm trying to say I'm planning my other artists and everything. So it's just putting people in certain places.
This is on the 7th that you wouldn't be till the evening anyway, which only gives Friday. Yeah. One business day before y'all meet again.
We could do the 11th.
He's not going to be able to.
I mean,
it's not going to. It's not going to. Unless y'all meet earlier in the week, like.
Is it
we can.
early day that anyone could meet before the 11th? Probably less than 30 minutes. I'm open. Then we gotta post the 48 hours. Post them all.
Well, so Friday is the planning and zoning meeting at 5. It's Friday. Next Friday. We need 4 council members at any special meeting. So, and we can't host anything the rest of this week. So if y'all can't meet Friday, then you can't host anything this week.
Can you meet on Monday? Anyone can meet Monday the 4th? Yeah. Or no? No.
Here now, are you?
Oh. Oh. Yeah. What about? Yeah. It look like the 11th. What's the cost again? Same with normal?
Yeah, it was. So you know, push me back, but yeah. No, it's not gonna go.
Additional fee.
I'm gonna keep it at that.
Look at it right now. I mean, how many pages is it? It's 2 pages. Just page number.
The only this
There's no time on this agenda item. Y'all can sit and read it if you want.
So this is just for us to approve you actually performing the audit?
Yes.
not to receive his. This is just to receive him doing the audit, not to receive his feedback. So it's just the only thing we really need to know is the amount, and he's done it for the last 5 years. The amount didn't change, but I do have 2 questions because I mean, what the questions? How do I answer this? We had some things that have taken place.
I am aware of that.
And so,
Don't look at me.
No, it's not. My question is, based on those things that took place, where does your audit, are there any new things that you're going to be looking for, or can you talk to us about?
Come up.
Okay. Yes. Answer your question quickly. Wait 1 second. Let's police officer raise this hand.
Yeah, I was just wanting to ask the question because that was kind of the line I was asking. What type of audit is this? Because once we finished that investigation on those things that were happening, this audit that came before that, and there was a considerable amount of $1,000 missing from this city. And is that something that you do? And then you guys hired an audit company to do a forensic audit, am I right? And is that still in effect?
Annual audit. This is what's labeled. This is the annual city audit that y'all do, not a special audit or a forensic audit.
And I guess that's what I'm asking.
This is your annual audit you're required by state law to do.
So those are my 2. Those are my questions. Have to do similar with the chief just asked, but not to get into about this. Is that based upon what we already know? What are some of the safeguards? Because what if I remember correctly from previous years, you audit based upon the information that is given, and if the information that is given is incorrect, there's no way to
check and balance.
Check and balance. And so I wanted to hear what you're either going to be looking for, or what do you recommend to us to put in place moving forward?
Okay, yes. And actually in my closing meeting, audit meetings for the last 3-4 years, I said there was a lack of separation of power and duties.
Just
I did say that. I pointed that out. And not personally, I said someone else. Not too many people doing one thing. But yes, and to answer your other question, in this type of audit, you're required to tell me if you suspect or see something. This type of audit is not formulated to, financial audits are not formulated to find fraud. However, if it jumps out at you, I'm required to. But I have to, do I have to do anything special? I have to do a whole lot of stuff special because I have to meet with the county, the mayor, to get the results of this to see what we need to look at.
I guess
I didn't know what the material aspects of in the area.
I guess my question was we needed some more specificity, because I know this is an annual audit, something has to be done. I don't necessarily say it's routine, but I was hoping to hear, or maybe I don't see in here anything different than what we've done with you in 5 years. And so I'm wanting to make sure that we all are on the same page of like, maybe some new are you going to give us some additional recommendations? I know we're still waiting on a different audit.
How do we ensure that the information that's being reported to you is accurate? Like what steps can we take to be sure that the financial information that you're receiving is accurate? Therefore, when we get these audits, because we get audits, these audits back that are, legit, that behind the scenes are legit. So what steps can we take on our end to ensure that the information that you get is an accurate reflection of what's actually going on?
Well, you need to put in some internal control procedures, checks and balances to make sure that what I'm actually receiving is what I'm supposed to be receiving.
And will you make those type of recommendations?
Yes. And as I said, I made those in the past.
Those will be on the report.
Right.
I guess,
But you follow specific procedures.
Right.
Correct. So I want the council to know that this audit follows specific state law procedures.
Right.
What is to be reported.
Right.
Okay. So tonight, this item is about approving you to do that annual audit.
right, but I'm also, I guess I want to make sure that we have, at the end of this audit, we have, whether it be on an additional page or if it needs to be highlighted this time for us, what are some of the recommendations?
Well, let me answer your question again. And that report never went to you all.
I know that.
Right. So that is something you all need to put in place, is the management closing letter that you all need to get. Because that audit that you all see, that's standard. That's standard, word for word. The management report closing letter, which has comments and everything, that's what you all need. And I submitted it. Now, I can't make Mayor give it to you all. But I also recommended that we have I recommended last year that I meet with you all, have a closing audit meeting. I recommended that. It didn't happen.
At this closing audit meeting, can you present us with the closing audit?
All right, I can do that. And once I do that, I have a comments letter, recommendations that, okay, this is outside audit, I suggest you do this, suggestions and everything.
What month is this? Do you usually take place?
February.
And is there a contract that you have with the city? Is this the contract?
That will be the contract that the mayor signs.
Yeah, the mayor signs and then the amount is on the third page.
Okay. Is there a provision here that says that you will not boycott Israel? That's the new state law requirement, that all contracts say that you will not boycott Israel.
That's a standard CPA engagement letter, but I can put it in there.
Have you heard that of it?
I heard something about that, but I mean, the AICPA often runs in conflict with these other laws people bring out.
It's a brand new state law that came out starting September 1st.
Yeah, I can do that. I can get that into there.
Okay.
You send me some guidance on what to put in.
Okay, and I haven't reviewed this either. I'm required.
Yeah, but that's a standard engagement. That's a CPA engagement.
Madam Mayor,
and one other matter. Any one of you or anyone can always come to me and say, hey, can you look at this area? In audit. Oh. You can always do that. We did that last year. We were concentrating on the utility area, but what's going on in that department. You can always come to. You have to just be careful not having a witch hunt. You're not turning over every dollar. Right. Because then that's not an audit. You're going to forensic audit then.
One of the things that just came back up that I guess to our attention. And do we put this on for later questions, Mr. Kerwin, in reference to the forensic audit?
Yeah, you can put it on for the next agenda if you want to have questions about that.
Or is it, I guess to find out where we at with it, I guess. Status.
The status of the report on that, yes, you could put it on the next agenda.
Madam Mayor,
Mr. Randall.
I move that we approve the annual audit by Ernst & Young CPA. Second.
Can we have a motion that they put the correct, with the possible addition of the language that I suggested?
With the addition of the language that the attorney recommended. Second.
You have a motion and a second. Are you ready for the question?
Question.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Item 8. Any new business?
Yes, we talked about the development of the road repair planning and the development of the schedule. I'd like that to be on the agenda, as well as I want to kind of one up and do the ditch and culvert cleaning and repairs as well. I remember that was a big issue in the flooding a couple years ago. We spent a lot of money to get those culverts cleaned and repaired. don't know if we've done the adequate follow-up and maintenance since then. So road repairs, and ditch culvert cleaning, repair and schedule, as well as the preview Christmas carolers. They're gonna come in, they're gonna sing. Can we get that at the top of the agenda so they can sing and make their rounds? For those who don't know, the Christmas carolers are men from the community who go sing to the widows and the sick and shut-in every year. Been doing it for about 5 or 6 years now. So it's always a nice treat when they come. And that's it for me.
Mr. Rhodes?
I want to see us to have a status report on the forensic audit. Kind of just a status report. I had that we move that we move to the next agenda on December 11th, 2017. An agenda item and notice be posted to consider and take action on selecting a mayor pro tem.
Oh, is that a motion? Oh, second.
We have a motion.
No, they don't need a motion, it's just for it to be put on the next,
That's new business. That we asked for?
I think you put the motion on the floor.
Put the motion on the floor because I requested it before, and so it should have been on this. So what I'm trying to.
Actually, technically, on the agenda, right?
Right, it's for to be on the December 11th meeting.
And we don't typically do it, add items, like when he added items, we didn't vote on it.
yeah, so, I mean, I remember when this happened, y'all just told me Attorney Curran told me that just bring it up at the next meeting, that it'd be asked, to put on the next agenda.
You have, your item is a motion, but there doesn't need to be a motion.
We've done it for the past months because we run into things being put on the agenda. And so if council approves unanimously or not unanimously put something on the agenda, that has to be put on the agenda versus if we just put an item.
Okay, then we need to be consistent in every, so that's fine. But then what I'd say is if that's your motion, then that, we'll vote on it. And then we need to go back to Councilmember Randall's and everyone, and then in the future, let's just vote, that's how we're gonna do it, so that we're all consistent, because his items weren't voted on.
Right.
So,
For the last several meetings, we voted.
there's been hit and miss. Some of y'all vote, some of y'all don't vote. So, yeah, just y'all need to pick a lane. Y'all want to vote on having them put on or not vote on it?
I mean, which way makes him put it on the agenda?
Well, one, if he does a motion and y'all deny it, then it doesn't go on the agenda. If you just say you want it on the agenda, it should go on the agenda. So,
But again,
It wasn't placed on.
it wasn't placed on the agenda, this agenda. And I'm saying, if I make a specific motion on this agenda, and it is something that passes because it's the council's meeting, it should be on the agenda. That's why I made the motion.
okay.
Okay, we still need to make a decision. I mean, sometimes we vote, sometimes we don't. So we need to make which way we're gonna do it at all times.
I mean, either way, he gonna still.
So there's a, all right, you have a motion. Is there a second to add that on?
Second.
Okay.
You have a motion and a second. You ready for the question?
Question.
I read the motion. Why is this is crazy. What way are we gonna do it? So that means from every meeting on out to put something on the agenda, we gotta make a motion and have it put on the agenda?
No, it's just been I'll say it's just been my experience is everything that I want on the agenda, I have to make a motion, but everything that other council people have asked, just like your 2 items you asked last meeting, they're on the agenda. The item I asked last meeting is not on the agenda. And so, depending upon who you are, there's a different practice.
Okay, so I am to understand that every time, because you just said we need to pick which lane we gonna drive in, right? Okay, so that means that when we do this, that means from this point on, when we want something on the agenda, we will make a motion to have it put on the agenda. Is that what you're saying? I'm just going by what you said, so I just wanna make sure that we don't change this next time.
The way the agenda is worded now, it says the mayor and council members may request that certain items be scheduled for future agenda. Requesting an item be placed on a future agenda does not exclude other agenda items being added. So it doesn't talk anything about having to have a motion and a second and a vote. Because the problem is,
but when we do it, it's making him have to put it on the agenda. If we don't do it, then it's just like, it's up to his free will.
He puts what he wants.
Yeah, he puts what he wants on the agenda, but we vote upon it, then the council basically is saying,
okay,
like, this is.
but the attorney said we have to choose one of the
here's the problem.
so that's what I'm asking. From now on, we gotta do that.
if you want something on the agenda, but council does not, and they don't vote on it, then you can't get anything on the agenda. So that's a problem.
Yes, it's gonna be a problem
Because if one council member, because the council should be able to put anything on the
But it's
agenda.
gonna be a problem because again, if certain council people go to the mayor and ask to be put on the agenda, it's on the agenda. And so.
Okay, so let somebody else make that request and see if it get put on.
It shouldn't have to come down to that. I mean, but what I would like for us to do, since as a council we all up here together, how about we just adopt the fact that at the end when we want to put items on the agenda, we just vote upon it, then that it holds him accountable and it's also what we all want.
Yeah, but suppose that later on down the road, before the meeting, someone wants to put something on the agenda, you can't put it on there until you go to the next meeting. You can't say, well, I want this put on and then add it, you know?
But that doesn't circumvent us. So this is, this doesn't circumvent us for the already process we have. The process is you can send the mayor an email on an item and the mayor can put it on there. This process is if for stuff that just came up tonight, or this process is for someone like me who can get things on the agenda. I need, if the council finds it like this is something worthy to talk about, that we can just have a discussion. This doesn't mean you agree with it. This just means we can have a discussion. And so, again, our normal process is any one of us can send an email to the mayor and say, hey, I need this added to the agenda. Sometimes that has happened. It has happened for me, and sometimes it hasn't. But we also know that the last meeting, I had something, Councilman Jones had something, and Councilman Williams had two things. And both her things are currently on this agenda.
And so, sometimes the one thing I've asked for has not been put on here, so.
And so I'm just saying that we be, whatever it be, we be fair across the board.
So,
I have no problem with being fair. I just want, we're gonna be uniform in what we do, like this is what I'm saying. And I heard the attorney say we need to pick a lane. So all I'm saying is if that's how the process is gonna be from now on, then let's do it. Let's not do it tonight, then next week we back to just saying, yeah, I want this on there, I want this on there. Let's be consistent with what we do.
This is just to add for new bit. So this is just future agenda items. If the mayor has the opportunity, if you talk to the mayor, any one of us talk to the mayor during the week prior to Friday, the mayor can add an agenda items if he so chooses. This future agenda items is for things that just like came up today about the 5-year road maintenance plan and about the audit. Those are things that we just learned about today and that we want to add to our next agenda item since we can't go into full discussion on it. But then there's some things that we may have been trying to get, whether it be a quorum or get a number of people to say, hey, this is something we need to talk about, that necessarily the mayor who sets the agenda may not want to put on the agenda at that time. And that's why we have this space on the agenda to add that. So there's not the process is doesn't circumvent the first process, this just adds to it. Now I do agree that we need to figure out if we're going to vote on everything for future agenda items or not. But that doesn't change the beginning process that we already have. And I think the question was clear.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Ayes have it.
Go back.
So now we have to go back and vote on this.
Alright. Madam Mayor Pro Tem,
Mr. Randall.
I move that we have a future agenda item to develop a road repair planning and ditch and culvert cleaning schedule for a 5-year plan for the city of Prairie View to be placed on the agenda for the upcoming December 11th city council meeting.
Second.
I'm gonna do, he has to do them separately.
We've got multiple ones, we can do them multiple times.
We have a motion and a second. Are you ready for the question?
Question.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Have none. Ayes have it.
Madam Mayor Pro Tem,
Mr. Randall.
I move that we place the Prairie View Christmas carols on the upcoming December 11th city council meeting,
Second.
At the top of the-
preferably at the top of the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are you ready for the question?
Questions?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Have none.
Do we need to do my motion about the forensic audit?
Well, we have road repairs, did you want the road repairs?
I put those in, the road repair in the this
Culvert.
you know, when,
Okay, yeah, and you have your friend's spot.
Is that already went? Or
you
did you do
gotta do it now.
that? Madam Mayor Pro Tem?
Mr. Randall.
I move that we get a status report for the forensic audit for 2017.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are you ready for the question?
Question.
All in favor, say aye.
No, status is.
Yes, status update.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None.
I have two more things. Do we need to put on the agenda about this closing audit, or is that something we just need
We
to
have to put it on there.
closer to February? And then there was a MOU, I think that we all, to discuss we all received an email from the mayor that said he signed an MOU for initial assessment including new city sewer treatment plant potential funding. And from my thoughts were that all MOUs needed to be ratified by council, and so do we need to put
We'll add that to the agenda to consider and take action to review the MOU for sewer.
Yep, for the initial assessment including the city council treatment plan. This is will come from the mayor. This email came from the mayor.
So we have a motion.
You have a motion?
We have, that's a motion. We have a second.
The motion was to have a discussion on the MOU for an initial assessment including new city sewer treatment plant and potential funding by the mayor.
Second.
Any action on that? Discussion.
Just discussion.
We have a motion and a second. Are you ready for the question?
Oh, wait.
Mr. Randall.
So if Councilman Rowland said that all MOUs had to go through council action, if this MOU didn't have council action, that's invalid, correct?
It could be, I don't know, I haven't seen it.
Right, so just so if it needs to have council action, shouldn't there be the potential or the possibility to take action on this item? If
I agree, but that would be something that the mayor would put on the agenda. The mayor didn't put,
You just wanted to.
the mayor sent the email to discuss about the MOU, and so I guess we could add it, so, because I don't want to preempt anything he has. But I think we've talked about this 2 meetings ago. We were supposed to be getting an update on the water sewer treatment facility plant conversation, and we continue to put that off, and so I don't necessarily know if we need to have a workshop or if we need to have whatever. So if we maybe changed it, the question is, if we have the motion broad, do you cover both things by talking about the city sewer treatment plant? Mr. Attorney, if we have a broad agenda item?
Well, your initial was just talking about that MOU that was entered into.
Correct.
So that would be what the discussion is.
Right.
Discuss that MOU for that particular project.
Right.
That's it.
Okay.
So if you wanted something besides that, a more global agenda item, then you, I would say, have 2 agenda items. That one is just dealing with the MOU.
Okay.
That's in the moderator.
Everybody in favor, say aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.
And would y'all like an agenda item on the next agenda to discuss how you put things on the agenda?
That'd be a good one, yes.
Whether it's by vote or by just council saying, I want something on the agenda.
Yes.
Would that be something that council would like to have on the agenda?
Yeah, if we're gonna have I mean, if it's gonna,
Clear it up.
but
And
again,
have you put people on there?
if it's clear,
I'm
yeah.
just thinking there should be some clarity going forward. We all did it one way tonight, and I want to make sure that, so maybe if someone wants to have an agenda item on how you put items on the agenda, consider and take action on how council can place items on future agendas. Okay, so is there someone who wants to make that motion to have that?
Madam Mayor Pro Tem,
Mr. Randall.
I move to replace the agenda item for the December 11th agenda for discussion and taking action on the process of placing items on the agenda by the city council.
Second. You heard the motion and the second, are you ready for the question? Everyone in favor say aye. Opposed? None.
Just have an announcement.
I wanna, make sure that the, number 4 that we tabled, I wanna make sure that it's put on the next agenda by the stipend for city council.
When we table it for the next.
I just want-
We set the day, I'm saying we don't have to take action.
And then I wanna add, the stipend for, the police officer. There's gonna be the code enforcement, warrant officer, bailiff, and so on.
You want discussion and action? Or discussion and action on a stipend for the police officer, bailiff, code enforcement officer?
And warrant.
Can y'all speak up? Like, I can't hear what y'all are, I'm sorry. So what was the?
The motion was to discuss and consider taking action for a stipend for the police officer / code enforcement officer / bailiff / warrant officer.
Second.
You have a motion and a second, are you ready for the question?
Question.
Everyone in favor say aye. Opposed? Have none.
And I want to put on there about supporting CASA, or what we can do as far as for Christmas for the kids.
Consider taking action
The kids in CASA, they have so many, to see what we can do as a council or whatever to donate gifts or to donate to CASA to make sure that all the kids that are in CASA care how they do.
I mean, I would say, I don't know the process, but I know we've done gifts here, toys here at City Hall for a couple of years, and we do that at the fire department, so I would definitely want to support it if we knew how to do it.
So we consider taking action to
Just however we can support CASA.
support.
Yes, to make sure the kids have a good Christmas.
So is the motion to consider and take action to support CASA?
Second.
We have a motion and a second, are you ready for the question?
Question. No question. Yeah, question. No.
No, no one agrees? Everyone in favor say aye. Opposed?
I'm waiting till the motion pass.
Ayes have it.
Alright, I get that, Councilman Williams, that we're talking about, the money that the officer will be getting paid. I thought that was already, within their budget, within the police, budget for them to pay.
So, I guess, can I ask a question? If we're going to, I'll say it. I'm sorry.
So we need to go into executive session.
Is there some clarity needed for why I asked for the stipend?
We got to discuss it on the next agenda item. We can clear that. And then once it gets.
So we have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Look, my one item. You had a chance to look at it?
Yeah, but that's not for council action.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that way.